Just watch me.
This is Captain Tokwan reporting for duty. I recently acquired confidential records via laser line of my sortie against the Feddies. As Commander Shar has had me chasing the horse, I was still able to get my combat data. Battle stations, all hands. It's time to get right into it.
It's gone!
What? Is my Bigro too fast for you? Initially, I was a little concerned about how these documents were shipped to me via lunar transport. But the more I archive, the more common this seems to be. Thankfully, nothing was damaged, and all materials were in near-mint condition, considering their age. I acquired altogether 5 main documents, 2 cells, 2 genga, and 1 correction layout of the keyframe that I had shown prior. These drawings were possibly drawn by either Kazuo Nakamura or one of the other key animators, though in reality there isn't much, if any, documentation that states as to whom actually drafted them. What we can infer based on information provided in the end credits is that my appearance was first drafted by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko. Additional details in the paint department or the key animation team reveal that Yoshinobu Aobachi, Mitsuaki Haruka, Kazuo Nakamura, and Toshinobu Tagawa were on hand. Yasuhiko notoriously fell ill with pleurisy when this episode began being fully drafted, and to date, the only notable existence of one of his layouts is that of the Bigro, stored in the hangar of my Zanzibar. You can see that the scale is dramatically different among other smaller things, though in the final cut, possibly drawn by Kazuo Nakamura as well, additional details are moderately changed. Yasuhiko's layout on the left versus Kazuo's presumed final on the right. Note differences, while small, in how both the Bigro and myself are rendered. As is the case with most cells, the Bigro is shown as a near, if not exact, copy of the final genga. By simply layering them on top, we can see that these images are true to scale with the original broadcast, though, in reality, the paint on the Bigro is actually near mint green versus the usual olive. This proves that prior releases of this episode translated color differently due to archival methods at the time. As you can see, exact details are 1 for 1, and there is hardly any damage present to either document. Turning this cell over reveals a very simplistic paint job, one that is still quite fragrant and thankfully devoid of any sense of potential vinegar rot. Turning over the original genga reveals its designation number in the animation sequence to be B5, while the back shows a very unique transfer of the original paint to the paper. This was acquired as found, so both the cells and drawings were removed with lots of attention and care. Additional coloration is present, but this further proves that these documents are legitimate. The paper is still really fine and high quality considering, and it really gave me a lot of insight as to how Sunrise invested heavily in proper paints and drawing materials. Each drawing is rendered not in grease pencil, but traditional graphite. I was surprised that there wasn't any fading whatsoever, considering that these are well over 40 years old as of now, and each drawing is resoundingly crisp. Given how clean they are, I can only assume these may or may not have been based on Yasuhiko's originals if he drafted this far. Like before, layering the second pair of documents reveals a near one-to-one match in scale and illustration quality, though unlike the prior pair, there are signs of obvious drafting that were never erased or done away with on the genga layer. These remind me of my own blueprints, oddly enough, and it was incredible to see the illustrator's hand up close and personal. One can also compare the color here to the archival broadcast and see the changes I mentioned earlier. I would have shown the entire unboxing, but Jean pulled me away for some, business, To answer an onslaught of questions I've received over on Twitter when the news first broke out, yes, I will preserve my data behind museum glass and a lunar titanium frame, one that won't be in direct sunlight or humidity as to keep the cellophane in pristine shape. The drawings will be stored similarly with acid-free matting. In the future, I will be traveling to Earth, and hopefully will show off more documentation and combat data like so. Loosely translating the encrypted message written as they once did in the Middle Ages, it states that this layout correction was deemed as Mobile Armor Bigro for the guest character. I am unsure as to whose writing this may be, but I believe it to be Kazuo's, not Yasuhiko's. Additional details give information that this was a correction for frames 135, 138, and 336, the latter of which reuses this particular shot. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to hit the bell for future Laserline broadcasts. Like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to see this sort of content in the future.
Hey man, can you not hog the bathroom? The hell are you doing in there?
My ship, my rules. Piss off, Shar. Go make your own video
I would
already.
go piss off if your greedy big back ass wasn't hogging the toilet. You're a freaky ass frog.
By Allah, this is why we can't have nice things.